Good morning. I'm about to pot up one of my peppers, which is not, well, it is all right, but I want it in a bigger pot, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to show you how I create my self-watering pots. So I've got a pot like this, and in the bottom it's got holes. So what I do is I get self-wicking material such as this, and I'll pass it through these holes here. Let me just do that and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so what you have is a pot with self-wicking material in it, and if you notice with this one, what I've decided to do is to separate it either side. So when it first starts coming up, I'm going to put soil in it to hold it up like this in the center, and then I'll spread these and wrap them into the soil in order that the wicking action will actually carry on into different directions within the pot. But really and truly, even just a central point as you would have is enough because of the capillary attraction. And then what you do is you find a pot on which this will sit, and this part of the wicking material will sit within water. So if you see my pots here, they all sat on reservoirs, and coming from the pot into the reservoirs are wicking material such as this, and so it just brings the water up to the plants. Ideally you need at least 20 plus. The bigger the better. I think this is a 30 liters, 20 or 30 liter. This one is probably a 50 liter underneath there. That's why it's got quite a few plants on it. This one is only a flower. These flower buckets that you can get for free from certain places. So that's just a small one, but it will still manage to look after that. Over here, I got these from the dump. I went to drop some stuff off and there was a lady throwing them away, so I took them. And I've got fabric pots sitting on them, and what you do with those is, all I've done is I've put a wicking membrane underneath. Let me see if I can actually lift this. Okay, so you can see there's water and you can see the wicking membrane. The wicking membrane comes up and all it does is sit on top of this, and then this material sits on top of that. Because it's fabric, it's enough to pull the liquid up to the bag and into the plants themselves. So this one is a much easier way. If you use a fabric pot on top, then all you do is you just sit the material on top. Let me show you somewhere else where it's much easier to see. This was a cheapie. Oh, this is like a 10 liters. But as you can see, I've got the wicking membrane just pulled out from underneath there onto here, and this is a quad grow, so it's got a wicking membrane in it, and all I've done is set that wicking membrane on top of this one, and it's enough to pull the water up into the plant. This one has a wicking membrane going into the pot to feed this aubergine. So that's how my self-watering systems work. I love them because they allow you to spend less time watering, and so once your plants are set up, see, here's another one, you don't have to worry about them because they'll carry on growing. These are made slightly differently, these ones here, but it's the similar system. It's all self-wicking and, well, self-watering. These are made slightly different because I've been doing this for years, and I've slowly developed different ways of doing it which work, and some which work better than others. And the one thing I can tell you is you need a big reservoir, especially for tomatoes. That is a 30 liter reservoir for that tomato. They last a lot longer. Even in the high heat of last year, I was only having to water in the early stages probably you can easily get away with watering once a week. And then as they're fruiting, even then I was watering once a week in the 30-litre pots. It's the smaller pots that where I was having to water a lot more frequently. So they're definitely worth having if you're using a container garden, as I do at home, because it eases the pressures on watering, because as you can see, I've actually got quite a lot of pots to water. So all I do is I just set the pipe to a tap, come out, fill up all my different reservoirs, and once they're done, I know I don't have to do it again for a while. And the bigger the reservoir, the better. So probably after this growing season in the winter, one of the things I will do is I'll replace all these smaller reservoirs with big reservoirs like that to make my life much easier, because they'll be sitting on much bigger reservoirs, which makes my life easier and means that I will water even less. Okay, hope that's helpful. It's just a shorty one. I'm about to go off and get myself a bit of backache and aches and pains transplanting these guys into the allotment. These are some of my volunteer tomatoes. These are going into work because there's someone who wants some of them. These I potted up because I just could not resist. And as you can see, the bean germination is poor. So in the end, I'll probably end up putting them direct in the ground to see whether or not they will germinate any better. My garlic harvest video will hopefully be put up if I can actually edit it to make it watchable, because I had my sister and her family with me and I find them hilarious, but other people might think they're anyway, we'll see whether or not I can get that video up. If I can't, I'll just show you what I harvested, but it looks gorgeous. I can see it from where I'm at. All right, have a good Sunday. Bye. Sorry, I just realized I hadn't finished. As you can see, I've now got soil in the pot, and now I'm going to put soil and let this wicking membrane wrap around like this and like that, because you don't want it all the way to the top, because otherwise then you'll have a lot of loss of water from the surface. You want the roots to go down and to seek water from below. So let's just put that there, and then we wrap it around like that, and then I'll just put a bit of soil on the other side like that, and then wrap it around like that. And now I'm just going to go get the pepper plant and get it planted in. Right, this is the pepper plant I'm transplanting. It's also got a chili plant in the same pot, so that's why I'm putting them in a bigger pot. And as you can see, it's quite weighted down by the two big peppers on there. So I think it'll be happier with more in way of space to expand. Okay, right, I'm nearly done, although I managed to drop this. Don't you hate it when you do that? So I need to rinse it off and top it up again. Poor thing. Not only am I repotting it, but now I've managed to drop it, creating a mess. And yep, this one is broken. Wonder if I can tape it. Probably will tape it and see whether, nah, it's all right. Leave it to hang whichever way it does. Yep, I literally just dropped it. Don't you hate it when that happens? And I lost all my compost on the ground, and compost is so expensive these days, you can't afford to lose any. So I'm just going to make some more of this, what's it called? Coconut coir. I tend to put it on top because I find that once it dries out, it stops the fungus gnats. And then what I'll be doing is, because this is one of my indoor plants, I'll be sitting it on top of a tray. I'll show you when it's all in place. But for now, let me just finish doing this whilst, expressing my misery. having hurt a plant and having messed up my own work when I was nearly done and ready to go on to the next thing, because I need to get to the allotment and put those tomatoes in really quickly because it's raining later, and I'm also hanging my clothes out, which means I'll need to come back in time to get them in before the rain does come and start. It rained last night as well, and that's good because we needed rain. So any extra rain is good for us right now because we haven't had any for a long time. Okay, let me finish this and then I'll show you when it's all done. Okay, we're all done. I've made remedies to the problem and hopefully the poor plants haven't been overly stressed out by it. I've had to wipe off a bit of mess that I made. Now I can actually go on and do the other bits and pieces I wanted to do and then get myself to the allotment to do the to-dos for today. Oh, I did a Tony C. Smith there and I know how he felt. I just wanted to cry. I was really upset. I thought I had killed it all, but it looks like I haven't. So we have hope. Yeah. Okay. This guy's done. And hopefully they'll stop sulking now that they've been put into a new pot. And we'll see how they get on. As you can see, the wicking membrane is sat in there. So when I water, I'll just put the water in here. It will be sucked up and they will be fine. I've already got another pot set up in a similar way. And once again, I added cocoa coir to it because I'm sick and tired of the fungus gnat. And what I'll also be doing, which works, is to put mosquito bits in the water. So as you can see, these guys here have their own self-watering system. This has a wick that goes into the pot, and that's how they are being sorted out. This is my Trinidad perfume. Believe it or not, these two are exactly the same age, but you can see the difference a pot makes. This pot is bigger than the pot this one was in. I've just potted it up, but we've got plenty of fruit on both. And so I'm not worried that we won't have enough chilies. I've never tried this chili before, but it's, you know, hopefully not going to be as hot as all the others that we've tried in the past, but I'm sure other people will be like, wow, these peppers are doing so well. I think we'll be having fruit from them soon. I mean, look at this guy. He's got 4 peppers on there. Or she, because they're the ones that make babies. And look at this one here. I love these. They're so beautiful. I just like looking at them. Okay, right, let me go off.